righty, welcome to this epic disaster. We are a little bit late
No, we're not actually late
as
because
far as recording. We're recording like at the last minute.
it'll be released on time.
Yesterday was 4th of July. We did a live thing.
Yeah.
And we said we were going to go and record, and then we went in the house and ate a whole lot of food.
Way
and then
too
we
much
said,
food.
no way, we're
Nope.
not recording. I couldn't move. I had a little too much alcohol. Not that I was drunk. I just and I wasn't. I just had too much to be comfortable.
Yeah, I got sick after I got home, and I hate to say that because all the food I ate was really yummy.
Mm-hmm.
The particular type of veggie burgers
Yeah.
that you bought for this time
Yes.
are not my favorite.
Okay.
But I ate it. I mean, I ate
Sure.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're soy based or what. You know, I have a sensitivity to soy.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of soy in them.
But I mean, a little bit shouldn't affect me either way. I
think
think
so.
I just ate way too much, and I got sick.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. If you didn't see the live video, it's up on our page, and I guzzle a PBR.
Yes, he does.
So I laid
In
down a challenge
sections.
which you would not participate in.
No.
I thought we would take the red, white, and blue PBR and down it. And I wanted to see how fast we could do it, and I wanted to time it and see who would go the fastest. Now, I only got halfway through,
If that.
and then I stopped, and I didn't want to do any more. That was nasty. And then I did the rest of it. And
But one of our live viewers or viewers of the video, live
Yeah.
viewer, I guess that's what, which is Doug in a Pup. He did a time on it,
Uh-huh.
and I think he said it was 15 seconds that it took you
Okay.
to do like about half of it.
yeah. So that's about a second an ounce.
Yeah, there. Well,
Well, no,
but you
because
only did 8 ounces.
2 seconds an ounce, I
Yeah.
guess it is.
Wow.
Right?
That's awful.
Something like
I mean,
that.
you would be a horrible college student.
I was a horrible college student. Speaking of beer, we have a new beer that we're going to be revealing today on our live beer review. We have not done this one, although we kind of thought we might have. We have done something similar, but we haven't done this one. We'll tell the fine folks at home what we're doing on this wonderful Sunday
I
afternoon.
will. Before I reveal what beer we're going to do, I want to just touch base again on our
Okay.
live video that we did yesterday.
Yes.
You know, DM on the DL, who is one of our listeners,
Okay.
she sent me a screen grab, and she said, "We're so cute
With our little sparklers.
with our little sparklers from the live video." So DM on the DL, thank you.
We actually had people ask if you were going to pour beer on my head again.
Not this time.
You did
Not
that
this
like
time.
2 years ago.
Well, yeah,
I'm glad
I've
we're-
grown up since then.
And I'm glad.
But today, I will not pour this on your head either,
Thank you.
because we're in my house and I want to clean it up. So today we're having Pontoon Brewing's Not Today, Satan.
Not today, Satan.
Which means not today to pour beer on your head.
Yeah, that's this will be, if I'm not mistaken, it's our second beer. It's our second satanic beer.
Yeah, because we had one a while back called Prank Calls to Satan.
Yeah.
And this is our Not Today, Satan.
By Pontoon Brewing, which we've had several of those. Aren't they? Now wait a minute.
I
Aren't they
really
from-
like Pontoon Brewing's
Aren't
beers.
they Oklahoma? Or am I thinking someone else? I can't remember,
can't
but
find
I've
it.
liked a lot of the stuff that we've had from them.
These guys are brewed and canned in Sandy Springs, Georgia.
Oh, they're close by.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is a Cascadian Dark Ale. This is part of their Sirius series.
Mm-hmm.
It says Keep Cold, Drink Fresh, which we are doing now. I like
And-
the artwork on it.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's a dark ale, so it should be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm going to open mine.
This has a 6.66%
Oh, wow.
alcohol by volume.
I wonder if they did it on purpose. You know
Of course
did.
they did that by because it also has 66.6 IBUs.
All right, so you poured yours out. It's very dark,
I
very
did.
like coffee color.
It's
really,
very
really dark.
This is Satan's beer.
Like scorched. It's going to taste like
It
hell.
looks yummy.
No, I don't think so. What do you think? Is it good?
Whew.
Not today, Satan.
Not
Here I go.
today, Satan. That is good. That's like you can only have one of those, but that's good.
Okay. Ooh. A lot of dark, a lot of bitter.
There is some bitter in there.
No, there's a lot of bitter.
There's some bitter in there.
A decent amount of bitter
So
in there.
Cascadian Dark Ale is what they're calling it.
Okay.
I don't know that we've ever had.
I don't know that we have either. It definitely, it's like coffee bitter. you
Yeah, it's
know.
definitely coffee.
Yeah,
It's
it's got
coffee
that kind of
all day
coffee
long.
bitter.
Coffee. Yeah.
And a little bit of Satan in there, I think.
Maybe some Satan.
Uh-huh.
But
I
no
like the
no
cover-
ass. There's no Satan ass.
I like Satan is sitting in a big leather chair with a three-piece suit.
Uh-huh.
which
He
is
looks
kinda
comfy.
Cool. Hmm.
And then he's got his little, like, Pinocchio bearing a knife at him. Or I don't know. The artwork's cool, but I don't have time to, like, to analyze it right now.
How'd your week go?
Well, work was fine. I mean, work is work. But I have been keeping my house really clean, and I finished some decluttering in the areas I said I was going to.
Yes.
I did not get to the areas that I wanted to get to, but there's always next weekend. Toffee and I are doing great. You know, all is well. Same old, same old. Same shit, different day at this point.
Everybody's got the same kind of day. I
Yeah,
think. They all
it's-
kind of blend into the other.
They do. I think it's like Wednesday or whatever now, isn't it? One of those days.
I had a little bit of adventure this week, which I want to talk about in just a few minutes. And now this is not a habit, not a new thing, but I guess while we're kind of at your place, it's kind of a fun thing. We're going to do a little taste test again.
Oh, fun.
We did a taste test last week, and we're going to do another one. I bought some stuff and the way I describe it is it looks good. It sounds horrible. And I don't know why I say it sounds horrible. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then I want to tell you about my adventure this week. But first, I want to play a little Would You Rather.
All right, let's do that.
Would you?
And just a heads up, before we do our taste test, Rick managed to bring something to my house that is actually a staple of my house that he didn't realize that I buy on a regular basis.
I didn't.
So I've already had it, and it's clear what my opinion of it is.
Well, we'll find out. Maybe you won't like it.
Maybe this time I won't.
I'm going to need the cards if you're going to drop a stone. You dropped all of them.
Okay,
That's
then
not right.
pick a color.
Try it again.
Okay.
Would you
Green.
rather? The game of Would You Rather. We drop a color stone, and it coordinates with a certain question. We read the question, and that's what we're going to do.
Today I dropped green.
Did you? No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I think you're lying. All right, green is ethics and intellect. Would you rather receive a $200 parking ticket that you feel you can contest in court, or a $40 ticket you know you deserve?
$40 ticket I know I deserve.
That doesn't even make sense.
Because I would totally just pay that online and be done with it, right? It's $40.
I see.
Because
So
the
you just don't
$200
wanna
I have to go to
court.
court. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
So I'd rather have the $40. I mean, yeah, I'm not the best driver. I might be speeding. If I get a $40 speeding ticket, then as soon as I get that ticket in the mail and they say, hey, this is due, I hop online and pay with my debit card. Done.
The last ticket you got, what was that? Where was it, and what was it for?
The last ticket I got was coming to your house, driving my Ford Exploder, and I had bad tags on the Exploder.
Wah, wah.
And when they pulled me over, I pulled over onto the street up in front of yours, and I immediately texted you. But the fact that I had my phone out and was texting scared the police officer, so he called for backup. So soon there were 4 cop cars outside my car, thinking that I was calling for somebody to come and, like, fuck up the cop or something. I don't know. But I was like, I'm just telling them I'm going to be late, and then I might be going to jail, and I'm scared, and that's all. And they were like,
Start
no,
crying.
whatever. I didn't cry.
I mean, you could. That'll get you out of the ticket, probably.
Not me.
All right.
That doesn't work with me.
I'm going to drop a color here. I'm feeling blue happening in my hand.
Okay.
I was feeling blue, and now I'm feeling red. But I'm going to stick with the blue, and it is blue.
It's blue.
I totally dropped the blue.
Yeah, whatever.
There you go.
Okay, so blue stands for appearance and
Feeling
embarrassment.
Good. My psychic powers sharp today.
So would you rather never again be able to touch your own genitals for any reason?
Oh,
That's harsh.
okay.
Or have wet dreams twice a week for the rest of your life?
Is this an actual question? Wait a minute. So there's supposed to be a choice between these two?
Yeah, so either you can't ever touch your junk
Why
ever,
would
ever,
I not?
ever again.
Why would I ever pick that one? And then the other one is I'm going to have at least 2 orgasms a week.
Yeah.
Why is that a contest?
What would you choose?
Well, I'm picking the dreams. Why not?
Because then you're going to pee all over yourself.
Well, first of all, it isn't pee.
No, I mean, you can't touch your genitals for any reason, it said. For any
Oh.
reason.
Well, I
Which
can put
means you
gloves
can't
on.
even touch your junk to pee with.
I can put gloves on.
Or you could just sit down.
Or use the hot dog tongs again. By the way, have you ever had hot dogs at my house?
Oh God. Oh dear God.
I shouldn't have told you. No, I'm picking that. I mean, that's an easy
I would
one.
totally pick the orgasms,
That's totally
especially when you don't have to
stupid.
work for them. They just happen
No.
because you're asleep.
I haven't had a wet dream since I was probably before high school.
That's a lie. I have wet dreams all the time
Why is that a lie with me?
because everybody does.
No, they don't.
I have orgasms in my sleep like at least twice a month.
No, I never do. I've always heard that. I've heard it that it's kind of a thing, and I've always been surprised because, way back, and I don't know what age that I first, did what do you call it?
Ejaculated?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
That's
first
the word.
time, yeah, I don't remember how old I was, but at that age, there was like 2 or 3, I guess. It might have happened 4, I don't know. And then never again, never had another one. I mean, I've had sex dreams for sure. Had one last night.
But you've never had an orgasm
Not since then, no.
in your sleep.
That would be weird, and I wouldn't want to. That's got to be messy.
I love it.
Well, it's not messy for you.
How do you know?
Well, I'm assuming. it's
Never
not.
mind.
But I've always just thought that was something that happened with young people. I didn't know that like grown people have that, like dudes have it.
Grown people.
Yeah,
and,
but you
and dudes.
it's like if you don't have sex, then you have more, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that quite honestly, I have when I'm sexually active, which I am currently not, like with another person. But the more that I think that you are sexually active, even I suppose by yourself, I think the more your body is ready to do that. And I think that I tend to have more orgasms in my sleep based on the more orgasms I have while I'm awake.
I need to ask my wife about that. I don't know. She never mentions it. I mean, it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. I would like to be able to have that without the actual ejaculation. I mean, the
Well,
great
yeah, because
feelings.
now you got a
and all-
mess to clean up.
I know.
Yeah. And
You're
that's no
lucky.
fun. That's no fun.
Most women are lucky; they don't have to worry too much about that.
True. We are lucky.
When you this probably doesn't make sense. When you have sex dreams, is it usually people you're really familiar with or strangers?
Okay, so I have lots of different kinds of sex dreams.
Yes.
Sometimes I have sex dreams that specifically only have to do with body parts, so I don't know who it is. It's just the act of
Like a
sexual.
close-up.
Yeah, it is. It's like the
Close-up.
money shot, and that's it.
God.
That's all you get. Like,
Okay.
like this cameraman only wants the money shot, so he just focuses on the genitals.
And you're the cameraman.
the entire time.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, there is an actual fantasy that goes with it leading up to the act. And I would say 9 times out of 10 in those cases, it is somebody I know. Now, it's not always somebody I'm actually attracted to.
Right. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. So it's just always somebody I know. Or, 90% of the time it's somebody I know. 10% of the time it's somebody I don't know, somebody I made up, somebody, just rando in my dream. But for the most part, it's somebody I've either been with in the past or have fantasized about being with.
My sex dreams, I think recently have not all, but mostly have been with really, really young women. And I'm guessing it's just because it's one of those things when you start feeling like you're old or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
maybe you flash back.
Have you ever had a sex dream with about a man?
No.
Never.
No.
Not once.
Nope.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it's interesting. I know my dreams, and that's all I know. I have dreams.
Let me just qualify and say I don't remember if I have. I think I would remember that, but I don't think I have.
I've had dreams about both men and women and people that change from men to women.
Yeah.
And people that are both men and women. So but that's, I guess that has to do with my orientation
Yeah.
as well. Because you are a straight homosexual man.
Homosexual?
I'm
straight
sorry.
homosexual man.
Heterosexual.
That doesn't even make sense.
I get the words all mixed up.
Yeah.
You're a straight heterosexual man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like dreams are where the fantasies happen, whether you control it or not. I mean, you could have, an affair with an underage person or whatever. And you can't control that.
Right.
So I feel like a dream would be, because I'm pretty sure I would never do that in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a dream would be where that only place that would happen, and as far as I know, it never has.
Interesting.
So, but I think in my dream, the sex people are people I know. A lot of times it's just friends, and a lot of times it's a mixture of people. It's like
Yeah.
they're half like
This person and half that person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I just got to say, in some of my dreams, they're men and women at the same time. But have you ever had a dream, a sex dream specifically, about a family member?
Like doing the family member?
Or the family member doing you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I think I would remember that.
I think you would.
Hot.
No.
No.
It's a little
No, I don't-
disturbing, actually.
I mean, I'm not saying and if I did, I would have probably been much younger, but I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that it's happened.
I think I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't control what goes on there.
Right.
So, your dreams just kind of go crazy.
That's true. That's
But
true.
I know that they're like fairly recently I had a dream. So I was like at a party and there was like 20-something, young 20-something girl. And I was like, we were just kind of being friends.
Right.
And everything was, she's just cute. And we were talking. And then next thing I know, she's taking off her shirt. And I just remember thinking, I'm married and I'm not going to do this.
Wow. Even in
mean,
your dreams,
yeah,
you think that.
I was like, I'm not gonna do this. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. And she's like, oh, okay, oh, no problem. So I didn't. I mean, I'm not. That doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes I just go for it.
Well, of course.
So, but my sex dream last night was my wife. So sometimes
That's fun.
she's in it, and then sometimes she's in another room while I'm doing it. I mean, so that was the case on this. Like this girl, this girl was like trying to get something going. I was like, no, I'm married. I'm sorry, I'm not. It's not.
And
gonna
she's right next door.
happen. Yeah, she's upstairs. So, but yeah, we get on sex dreams. I don't know.
Because it's us, and that's what we talk about.
My week. Oh, I'm going to tell you. So, I did something interesting this week.
What'd you do?
I had a COVID test.
Oh, you did?
I went and took a COVID test.
Okay.
And it's not written, and it's not oral.
Ooh.
It's nasal. So if you don't know anything about COVID tests,
There's a bug on my wall, and I'm
Okay.
sorry. It just took my attention, and I'm going to lose my shit because there's
COVID
a
bug.
on my wall.
if you don't know about COVID tests, the way that they work, and I knew about it, and I was a little bit, why would you kill it? Why didn't you just scoop it and it didn't do anything to you?
I know, but it freaked me out. I'm sorry. Did I just upset you?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I apologize. It just scared me.
It scared you. A
Yes.
little tiny 1-inch bug
Yes.
scared you, and
Yes, it
you couldn't
did.
scoop it into a glass and throw it
It's
outside.
part of my anxiety. I don't think you understand.
All right. Anyway, so speaking of anxiety, I was a little bit anxious about this test because I had heard that they stick a swab way up in your nose, and someone told me they were like, and it's not just like a little bit in your nose. It's
No,
like,
they go all up in there.
They go way, way in there, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was really concerned about that. So we went first. We were scheduled to go a certain time, and we went. And I just decided at that point, I'm not doing it.
Why?
I don't like being prodded, which is another reason why I don't dream of dudes in my sex dreams.
Okay.
But I don't like having things stuck in me. So I just decided, no, I'm not doing it. And so my wife was there with her mother, and that they were both getting checked out.
Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law had already done had a test before she came
Right.
to live with us.
We talked about that.
We
yeah.
talked about that last week and maybe the week before. So she tested negative. but they wanted to get her tested again, and then my wife wanted to do it, and then I thought, well, I might as well do it too, because
Where
she's
do you
living in
go
our
to
house.
do this?
There's a church right down the street from us, and
Okay.
in their parking lot they have a little mobile, or
You
you can
just
drive
drive
in.
through?
Yeah, I drive up.
Okay.
So I went there, and then I decided I'm not doing it. And then so my mother-in-law got out and got in the car with my wife, and I moved on. I had to go get some art supplies, so I left.
It's much more important.
Yeah. So when I got home, my wife said, well, they ran out of tests, so we got to go back tomorrow morning. And I thought, all right, what the hell? I'll go do it with them.
Uh-huh.
So then I went, waited in line, and so I just kept psyching myself out. I was just like, all right, it's like seconds.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that big of a deal. I've had shots before.
Sure.
I've had a colonoscopy before. I've had
You've been prodded in many, many ways.
when I didn't want to be, but still was. You had to have all kinds. There's certain tests you have to take and exams you have to go through.
Yeah.
So I just thought, how bad can it be? I'm going to do it. So drove up. I got up there. That freaking hurts.
Does it?
It hurts like I wanted to punch someone out.
No.
If I think now, if I had to do it again, I would get the COVID. I would go ahead and just get the COVID. It hurt like crazy.
It hurts?
So first of all, the swab was smaller than I expected. I kind of expected.
It's just a tiny little.
Yeah, I expected like Q-tip size.
No.
I actually thought it would be a little bit bigger, but this was really, really small. So she puts it up my nose, and immediately it hurts like crap. I mean, really hurts. And I just am. I wanted to pull away and hit her really hard.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought, no. It's wait a second, 2 seconds, and it's over. And so I waited 2 seconds, and it wasn't over. And she's twisting it around farther and farther. And so what it feels like is I have inhaled a bee.
Yeah.
And it's stinging the crap out of the inside my nose.
Yeah.
It hurt really, really bad.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have taken it even just a second longer. And then
my
she was
gosh.
done. And I felt that sensation for the rest of the day. I think I can think about it right now, and I can still feel it. It hurt. I did not like it.
I'm sorry. I apologize that you had to go through that. Did you get the results back?
So they told me that the results would be back in 48 hours to 72 hours.
Okay. That's
And-
2 to 3 days.
Yes, and it wasn't. But it did come back about an hour before I came here.
Okay.
So I found out what the results of my tests are.
Now, this is just if you have COVID-19.
If I currently have it.
This is not an antibody test.
It is not. That's a blood test.
Okay.
And I don't have that.
Okay. So what are the results?
You're right.
There's a bug. Another fucking bug. in
Get
your
out of the way,
house.
bug. She'll kill you. There's a bug right there.
Run away, run away. Stop it.
By your tree.
Rick,
Do you see it?
I hate you.
Do you see it?
No.
It's right there.
That's a screw in the wall.
Oh, okay. So I got
You
the
just
results.
try and add to my
No, it
anxiety
looks like a bug, Ryan.
constantly.
So I got the results back, and I am negative. I do not have the COVID.
Good. So you failed the test.
I failed the test, and all of that pain for nothing.
You know, I don't envy anybody having to have something stuck up their nose. All day long today, I have felt like there has been a bee in my nose, way up in here in the bridge of my nose. And I've tried to blow my nose. I've taken Benadryl, which is why I'm feeling a little loopy right now. I have shoved cotton swabs up there. I've done everything I can, and nothing. It just constantly, it's that constant like itch that makes you have to sneeze, and it constantly makes you want to rub your nose.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Well, I don't know what to tell people about this because it's a necessary thing. You know, you need to do
If you
it.
think
Not
you
everybody
have
needs.
it.
Yeah, not everybody needs a test. I mean, ultimately, stay safe. Do the things you need to do to stay safe.
Right.
Which would be wear a mask, practice social distancing. Those things are scientifically proven to help. And when people stop doing that, everything spiked. It's real easy,
And it just keeps
and
happening.
it's not that inconvenient.
No, it's not.
Sometimes you don't get to do it. I when I was at home, this morning I went out. I had to get some stuff with my wife. I wore my mask. I got home. I took my mask off. My wife when I was coming here, I jumped in my car. I didn't put my mask on.
I noticed you're not wearing
So I
a
went to
mask.
the grocery store and I didn't have the mask. Sometimes it happens, you know, but you got
Forgot.
to try to do it. So I really try to keep my distance. But you got to do that, and then, you know, if you got to take the test, just be prepared. It's not the most comfortable test in the world. Now, you know, I talked about, and I try to preserve privacy here. I've talked about my wife's family.
Yep.
3 people in her family were tested positive,
Oh dear.
and one was very young, and that person was someone they think might have brought it into the family.
Right.
They have reason to believe that she was in contact with someone else who had it, and she or he. Did I say she?
You
I don't
said
know.
she.
Sorry.
It's
that
fine.
person.
We don't know what she or he identifies as.
That's correct.
So.
And so, so 3 people. So 2 people who had it, kind of they had some effects. They didn't feel well, but they kind of are okay now. They kind of on the mend.
Okay, good.
One of them had to go to the hospital.
Oh dear.
And did not do very well.
Oh,
In
no.
fact, they were very concerned. But today, that person got to go home.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
apparently, they're okay. But what they're discovering is they're seeing that some people say it lasts a week. Sometimes it lasts 2 weeks at the most. But what they're seeing is people are having symptoms even after they're
Yep.
better. They come back.
Yep.
Almost like a herpes virus or something. It's like you get it for a while, or like shingles.
Yeah.
It's like it will come back again, and they don't know enough about it, but they're starting to see that a lot of people are having symptoms that come back.
I've seen several news stories about people, right about 2 months, 6 to 10 weeks. So somewhere in there, after finally testing negative, after actually having had it. Anyways, somewhere between 6 to 10 weeks after they finally test negative for it, they get it again.
Yeah,
So it could be cyclical.
yeah.
But the other thing is now, I think I did have it. I think I had it in early February when I had that horrible, horrible cough. And that's all it was a horrible, horrible cough. But it was a really horrible cough. It was like, I did consider going to the hospital.
But my wife also had that, and I also had that.
Right.
So I don't think.
So
it was
who knows? Anyways, I didn't go and get an antibody test, and I don't know how long after an antibody test would show that you had it, and I don't know the point of that now. However, people getting it and then being like, okay, I'm fine, and I can go out in the street again. Yeah, sure, go for it. But you might get it again. It's like if you get the flu one year, it's not like you're not going to get the flu the next year, right?
that's what people are hoping anyway. I don't know that there's any evidence that that's actually correct.
Now, they've also said this recent spike is more the middle, younger kids between the ages of 20
Right.
and 30.
Because
somewhere
they're
in
being
there.
very irresponsible.
Because they're being very irresponsible and they're going out and they're getting it. Now, for the most part, what we've seen with this is that those people aren't affected as horribly as elderly folks might
At
be, or
some
even
points,
you and I.
Sometimes.
In most cases.
Mm-hmm.
But they take it to those people. And so they're going out and they're like, oh, I'll have a flu or I'll have a cough and I'll be fine. Yeah, but you go see your grandma and you could kill her. Those kinds of things. And they're like, oh, if we just keep it to that group, it'll be fine. But I also just heard about a baby that had to be hospitalized with COVID. So, viruses mutate.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that just because it doesn't affect the 20 to 30 group as much as it might the 60 to 80 group, it can change, and it will change, and it will affect you too.
I am now campaigning. The media especially likes to have names for the generations. So you have the Boomer generation, you have Generation X, Generation Y is in there. They're running out of names, so they're just like millennials. So I have a name that I'm campaigning now for the young generation, the really young. I think I see where they're calling them Generation Z.
So from like 18 to 30?
I guess the ones that are getting the COVID now.
Okay.
The kids.
Yeah.
I believe that we should call them the Doomer generation.
Okay, Doomer.
Because they're kind of from what I understand, they feel like they're doomed anyway, and they don't really care. It's
Did
kinda
you?
Like we're going.
Did you care when you were 18?
No, but I'm just saying they feel like now. Look at the world, all the shit that's going on in the world. What's happening with war, government, pestilence, viruses, and all. It's like they don't believe they're going to live long anyway.
Right.
So they're just like, to heck with it. And so they're not wearing the mask. They're not doing the social distancing. They don't care. So I think the name fits. The Doomer generation. They're doomed.
They feel
They
doomed.
feel doomed. They're the Doomers.
Okay.
I think that's what we call them now.
Okay.
The Doomer generation.
I mean, I'm down with that, but I'm also
You don't get to pick your own generation name.
no, you don't.
So I'm picking it for them.
But you don't get to pick their name either.
Oh, I do.
No, you
I'm
don't.
doing it now. That's what I call them.
I will also
The
say
Doomers.
that in my years between the ages of, I don't know, 15 and 25, I didn't think I was going to live past 30.
Yeah.
So doesn't every generation go through that period?
Kind of, but I
where
think-
the world scares them so much that they think that there's no point.
But you can't compare the events when you were growing up to what's going on now.
no,
I mean,
we
they're
just had the Afghan War and Desert Storm and shit
but
like
this-
that.
But so much more junk is going on now, and whether it's true or not, you can't blame them for feeling like they're not going to live to be 30 or 40 in some cases.
No.
So, sorry, I feel like Doomer generation is a good name for them.
Okay, let's do that. I wonder if they'll like that.
No.
Oh,
Speaking of like, let's see if we like this. I stopped when I was on the way over here. I saw at the store. Now we're not going to do taste tests all the time, but we did last
I'm
week,
down
and
with
I'm
taste
doing
tests.
another one now.
I'm totally fine.
But I saw this. It just didn't sound good, but it looks really good, and it's called Chad's Smoked Gouda Dip. And I don't know who Chad is really.
now normally Chad, the name Chad associates some like frat guy.
That's what I think. It's
who's-
just like Chad made this in the frat house,
Yeah.
in the kitchen, just put a bunch of stuff together.
But come on, smoked Gouda. That's
Well, that's
an
what I'm saying.
upscale
I
ingredient.
can't. I don't know. I
for a
mean,
frat house.
and I don't know who Chad is. Chad might be a master chef. I really
he
don't
could
know.
be.
But it just didn't sound like it would be top notch. Chad.
Well, I'll tell you, just because we're going to taste test it.
Uh-huh.
But as I said at the top of the show, I've had this multiple times in
Okay.
my home, and I
So
absolutely
you're down with Chad.
adore Chad's dip.
You're having sex dreams about Chad's dip.
Quite possibly.
Can you open this up?
Yes,
I don't know.
I'm
It's
capable.
like a weird little puzzle there to open it up. And then I also bought some Georgia sourdough sea salt crackers to have it with. I don't know if you've had these. Artisan baked goods from GeorgiaSourdoughCo.com.
I have not had those.
All right, so we're going to try this. Now, Chad's smoked Gouda is very white.
Well, Gouda is white.
That's right. It's a
The only
very
part of
white
smoked
dip.
Gouda that looks smoked is the outside, is the brine.
okay.
But the Gouda itself, it tends to be a white or a light yellow.
All right, do you want to grab a cracker and try it out?
Sure,
You've
I'll
already
join you.
tried it. You know what it tastes like.
I don't mind, and you're going to leave the rest of it here with me.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Remember, Gouda's really strong. Just do you.
I'm
Just
so
do
tired
you.
of everybody telling me how to live my
Just
life.
eat. Just
All right,
eat
here we
how
go.
you want to eat. What do you think so far? Now you're chewing into the mic, and that's not really appetizing for most people listening, especially when they're not eating. I just love it. It just smells good.
That's pretty good. Good job, Chad. It's very mild. I really expected it to be more salty than it is, and then I thought, well, it's gonna be that fake smoke taste, and it's gonna be too much of it.
No.
And none of that. It's actually really well balanced.
So what they use is the Gouda from, the cheese department, like the cheese stand, not like the stuff you buy over by the milk. This is like at the deli cheese section. They use a really good Gouda. It's not the smokiest Gouda that they sell. I like a really smoky Gouda, and I like an aged Gouda, which has more crystallized in it. But this is just super creamy. And honestly, I think it's just I know the ingredients are on the label somewhere, but I think it's just cheese and mayonnaise
Yeah.
and like some there's a little bit of what kind of feels like pimento in there. But
Yeah, it's good. It would be good on bread, almost like pimento cheese.
Totally.
Yeah.
totally good.
Okay.
You could use as a spread with your
I'm
meat
for
sandwich.
it. Chad did a good job.
Yes.
Thanks.
Awesome, Chad.
The
only Chad I like.
Well, that's not fair. You don't. There might be more Chads out there.
There might be. The only Chad I've met that I like.
That's severe.
I don't know a Chad that I actually like.
Okay. Chad Everett.
I don't know who that is.
He was the doctor on Emergency
Yeah, no.
when you were my baby.
When I was a baby. Yeah, because I sat and watched Emergency when I was an infant
I
I love
when we
it.
were kids, I watched it all the time. All right, so we're going to start. What's the word?
I don't know.
Wrapping up the podcast, but I have a question for you. Now, I want to do an entire episode about this, but we're obviously not going to do it now. But I do have a question
Okay.
because it's kind of about current events. So, what do you think? This is sort of a loaded question, I guess.
Oh, dear.
How do you feel about the monuments that are coming down all over America that are historical?
I have
Historical
mixed,
monuments.
I have mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings.
I have mixed feelings. I understand that we should not hold people to a higher standard that historically were horrible, horrible people like slave owners and
But the country was founded
people that
by
helped-
slave owners.
No, I get that. I'm getting to
Thomas
that. Hold
Jefferson
on. I'm
owned
getting
slaves,
to that.
yeah.
I'm getting to that. People who were awful to their servants, people who fought to keep slave ownership a thing, people who were out to just, completely dominate another race or culture of people. Should we hold them to a higher standard or put them on a pedestal in a place of praise? I don't think so. However, I am also of the mindset that if you remove the images and the memorabilia of past horrificness, you will repeat it. So, in my opinion, removing things like this and out of sight, out of mind, almost forgetting it ever happened, it's bound to happen again.
Yeah.
So I think things that stand and remind us of times past will also remind us not to repeat them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm again, mixed feelings.
One of the things I thought I read on the internet, like a little meme that someone posted, which I thought was pretty insightful, it said, if someone stole your baby and sold your baby, where would you want them to put the monument to that person?
Ouch. That's harsh.
And I thought that kind of sums it up.
It does.
Because I feel like we look through white eyes because we've lived in that kind of privileged society where even though a lot of us might say, this involved slavery and it was bad and now we don't have that anymore, but we should have the history because it's part of American history. And that's that's kind of a white way of looking at it. But if you think that people who are not white, whose ancestors were bought, purchased, and beat
Sold
up
and beat
sometimes
and killed.
because they weren't working hard or whatever, treated like shit. They have to look at these monuments that we're honoring the people who fought these wars.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them for not
Oh, God,
being
no.
happy about that.
No.
I will say from a personal standpoint, I couldn't care less. I'm not a Civil War person. I don't. The history of the Civil War is fascinating. I feel like it needs to be there. We shouldn't cover it up. I don't feel like that a lot of that necessarily should be honored.
No.
Or I'm totally fine with not having those monuments. But I think the last thing we need to do is sweep all of that under the
Under
rug.
the rug, exactly.
And there is an impulse to do that, and I think you can kind of get carried away because, involved in this also, I see where they're bringing down Christopher Columbus. They're bringing down, anybody who was associated with or who were segregationists. And I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I'm just saying you're going to find at some point that every single person who did anything in this world is not perfect and had some flaws. And if you're going to end up trying to nullify people, and we've talked about this before, nullify people who were flawed and who might have been flawed at one point. Like there are a lot of I'll just throw Hillary Clinton out. When she was running for president, a lot of LGBTQ people supported her, but there was a time when she was against all of that.
Mm-hmm. Or publicly was.
Yeah, because whether it was a thing to do politically, I don't know. But I think you have to look. I mean, right now I'm seeing ads that Trump is running of Joe Biden when he was much younger and talking about bills that he had passed. And I think a lot of people, if you look at especially in politics, because society changes, people at one point might have been against, let's say, gay marriage, and then they might have evolved their way of thinking to where they support it.
People do grow. People
Yeah.
do change. And I am saying every fucking day, I'm seeing somebody apologizing for something that they posted on Twitter when they were 18 goddamn years
Right.
old.
Yeah.
And they're in their 30s
Yeah.
now. And
But
they're
you have to
fighting.
do that now.
They're fighting for rights for the very thing that they posted a mean or hateful meme about. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that they're coming out and apologizing. But drop it. They
Yeah.
apologize. They're clearly making a difference in the world now. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Now, even if they aren't publicly making a difference in the world, who are you to say that they haven't changed their mind? Who are you to say that we should no longer go to their movies or read their books or vote them into office because when they were a kid, they were stupid? When I was a kid, I was stupid.
Right.
When you were a kid, you were stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that social media existed when these people coming into power now or coming into celebrity now, social media existed and these things were recorded, that didn't happen with us. We just spoke them out loud. And then it's just hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is on record that they went on social media and posted this. So the fact that they, as children now, have to start thinking about what they're posting, so that
And no
later
one
in
will ever
life,
be able to do that.
and no one,
You can't.
you can't. So you have to give a little bit of leeway because nobody in this world made a mistake or didn't make a mistake as a child or make some kind of derogatory comment against somebody else for whatever reason that later in life they didn't realize was stupid. Mm-hmm. And you can't. It's kind of ridiculous to me when it comes to the monuments. If there's a monument of a horrible, awful person, Confederate general who wanted all black people killed in their sleep, whatever, fine, take it down, but replace it. Replace it with something that will remind you of the time, whether it be a very strong and motivational black person of the time.
What do you think about Stone Mountain? Because I live in Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain has what I believe they say is the largest Confederate monument in the country. And now people are really starting to demand that it be taken down. It's not something that can be pulled down. It's carved like Mount Rushmore.
And they want
It's
that taken down too.
carved on the side of a mountain in rock.
Yeah.
Civil War generals. Now, what do you think about that? I mean, it is a tourist attraction. People
It's a
come in
tourist
to-
attraction. People bring money into the town by coming to see it. I get that, blah, blah, blah. I also, on a completely objective level, understand that that is a work of art. Somebody created that. Somebody carved that into the side of a mountain.
Well, if it was a carving of Hitler,
It's still a work of art.
I know, but I don't think we would be going, hey, it's art, leave it up.
I'm not saying leave it up.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring it down, bring it down, but preserve it for posterity. You have to remember that 100 years from now, if we delete all of these remembrances of this time past, 100 years from now, it's gonna happen again. You have to keep these things in memorial somewhere. I'm not saying that we need to honor the people that were horrible. I'm not saying that. And I know that that's what a lot of these monuments do, is that they honor these people and that they hold them to high regard. But put them someplace, the Smithsonian, a museum of some kind, that recognizes who they were and what they did so that nobody forgets. Nobody can forget. That's my biggest thing.
I think you have to see everything in history, and I understand when people don't want to, why they wouldn't want to, but you have to see everything through context. You have to look at it through context. Now, I'm not making excuses for monuments or statues or any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, it doesn't affect me. I don't care. If they take them all down, I don't care. If they leave them up, it's not going to affect me either way. I feel like whatever makes the most people happy, let them do that.
Okay.
I don't care. But when you start focusing on the flaws in individuals, especially when it's the flaws in individuals in the past, and I'm going to use Thomas Jefferson, and I'm not saying that how he was a great person or the greatest person. He owned slaves. Yes. Do you think, would he have owned slaves? Now, I know it's illegal to own slaves, but I mean, would he have been as outraged today about slave ownership if he could live now? That was so accepted back then that it wasn't something that really entered into a lot of people's mind that there was anything even wrong with it. So you have to look at I sound like Trump, there are good and bad people, but you have to look at the good things that he gave to the country as well. And you think, can you honor him as a flawed person who did great things while at the same time condemning the horrible things? Do you have to erase him from history? Now, if his main claim to fame is he started the Klan, okay, let's erase that guy.
Let's be done with him. Well, no, we can't erase him. We need to, not necessarily burn him in effigy, but we
don't need statues of him around.
No, we don't need to honor him.
Getting. Yeah. And I remember him. I mean, he's going to be in the history books. You're probably not going to take him out of the history books. But I guess what I'm getting at is there are some people who affected America and started America who lived at a time when and let's take it today. Let's say today, there are people who support what I would consider horrible immigration policies.
Yes.
Now, time will tell, but let's say 100 years from now, people look back on that and and we don't know which way it's going to go. But what if the immigration policies 100 years from now are seen as barbaric and horrible? Anybody who supported that they want to take down their statues. They want to strike them from everything. So I don't know. I mean, I think you have to. I think you just have to look at everything in context. I'm not for excusing anybody's behavior, but I think, is it possible to honor a person while at the same time condemning their bad actions? Or do you have to just erase everything they did because of a section of their life that was bad or you don't like or whatever?
I think for enlightened people of today, I think we are capable of, and I mean, I'm not saying that we are at full enlightenment at this point, because obviously we're not. But I think that we are capable of saying this person was not an enlightened person of their time because they agreed with doing this, which could be, owning slaves or condemning those that wanted to end slavery, whatever their thing was. Yeah, that's a horrible thing. But, maybe they also supported, women's right to vote.
Yeah.
So they're not a horrible person because they think that at least women, in their case, maybe just white women, were allowed to vote. Mm-hmm. That's a step in the right direction. So this person is on the road to enlightenment. We can't say that person was the devil and should be, burn in hell for life. But people weren't as enlightened then as they are now, and there wasn't as much information to be shared to learn from. So they knew what was happening in their colony, and people higher up knew what was happening in their nation, but not around the world. Now we have knowledge around the world, and we know better than they did. So no, I don't think we should condemn a person in the past, especially one who's dead, for things they did not know. Now, if they knew that this was a bad thing, and if they fought against it and did it behind their back, yeah, condemn the fuck out of that person. Like up in front of everybody saying, I'm a good person, I don't do this, that, and the other thing, and then turn around, open their closet door, and yeah, they do. You know, that kind of a thing. Right. That's a horrible person.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to bring up a point. Do you think that we are in a day and age now, or even moving forward, of monuments and things like that? Like, the reason people put up statues is because that was the guy, right? That was the guy of our county or our state or even our nation who did all the things.
I just saw
we're not in that life anymore.
I don't know. I just saw where they put up a brand new monument of Prince somewhere. So let's say 50 years from now, someone watches Purple Rain and sees Apollonia take off her top and flash her boobs, and they go, Prince is sexist.
Oh,
Prince is sexist. He encouraged nudity. He objectified women. Let's take down that monument. That's what I'm saying. It's like, where do you stop? Because I think what happens is it becomes a ball that rolls that won't stop. There's like this energy field that gets behind this, and people just want to do things without really thinking about it. This just popped in my head, but I just remember reading about someone trying to bring down a statue that had nothing to do with it was just that energy. They were just like, let's bring down the statues, and they didn't know who the person was or anything about it. They tried to bring down the statue, but I think that starts happening.
At that
I know, but I mean, but you said something which made me. I was going to go that direction, which is like you were talking about the women's right to vote. So then what do we do next? Do we start targeting people who have suppressed women? Because you're going to get a lot of companies, people. That's everyone. That's people of my dad's generation. Some people of our generation.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Companies who aren't paying women. So... I'm not saying you shouldn't look at those policies and have them change, but it's like, do we cancel them out? Because there's not going to be anything left. There won't be anything left. I think that is going to have to be what happens. Is right now everybody's just rabidly saying, let's delete that. But there's going to come a time when everybody's going to have to realize you can't delete it because it's your uncle. You know, it's like, I can't do that because that now you're starting to move into my family because I own some Prince records and I really like him. He's my favorite artist, so we can't bring him. And everybody's going to have that introspection, and they're going to have to go, you know what, we're all flawed. So why don't we come up with a new way of looking at it to where we embrace, you know, how they contributed to society in a positive way, and then we condemn what they did because it was ignorance or it was just what was going on at the time. I don't know.
And in a perfect world, that's what's happening next. Like right now, what's happening in the world with the protests and albeit riots and what have you, that has to happen because nobody was fucking listening.
No.
Nobody was listening to peaceful protests.
I mean, I'm kind of for it. I don't know. I like shaking things up. I think I'm not against monuments coming down. I'm not against people being held accountable for their words, their actions. There are people who are in government that we've voted in government that are actually saying the most horrible racist things right now.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize it.
No.
And it's just like, that's not the 50s. That's not the 60s. That's today.
Now. That's yesterday and today.
Vote that person out. Get
Do
that
it.
person. Make them resign. That's
that is
what
your job.
That's what you. Why? How come that hasn't happened to people high up in government who have in public have said some of the most horrible racist stuff? Force them to resign, and that's what I think we have to do. But But it's also it's not, and pardon the pun, it's not as much a black and white issue as it sounds. There's so many layers on it, and I think it's something that we as a society are going to learn as we go along. We're going to learn more effective ways to deal with it. So like now, the thing is, and I'm seeing it now, the sports. Changing the name of the sports teams.
Yes.
So, and they should. I have been a Washington Redskins fan my whole life. I was what I would say a rabid fan in the 80s and 90s. And even before that, like when I was in high school. So everything I had was Redskins. And then there was a time when I really thought about it, and I thought, that's such a racist name. It's not like the Indians or the Chiefs, which you can argue that somehow pays some kind of respect or honor to Native Americans. But Redskin is that's like, you wouldn't have a team called the Blackskins. No one would allow that.
No.
The San Francisco Yellow Men, no one would allow that.
No.
How do we allow the Redskins? So, and I'm totally for honoring, if you can do it in the right way, honoring Native Americans. Maybe they should be a part of it. But so I just came to a point where I was like, I can't support that anymore, and I got rid of all my Redskin stuff, and I stopped following football altogether.
And that was years ago.
It wasn't too long ago, but I mean, it's been 10 years, let's say.
But people have been trying to get, specifically because you brought it up, the Washington Redskins. People have been trying to get them to change their name,
and that guy says no,
decades.
He will not do it. And now, like 2 days ago, he's like, we're going to look at it and we're going to consider changing it, and they will. They'll have to, because there's corporate, big money. Their stadium, FedEx Stadium, that the Washington Redskins play in. FedEx says change your name, and Nike has said change your name. So they're going to have to.
And there goes all your money.
Yeah, they can't. There's no way they can survive. But then, my wife said that Emory University, Emory Hospital, the whole Emory group has already been approached by people saying, we don't want you supporting the Braves. Atlanta Braves. So they're next.
Yep.
The Cleveland Indians they've already talked about. So that will go. And then what do you do? Do the Vikings go after that?
Yep.
Do the Celtics go after that?
And then eventually we'll get to the Patriots. Because if you think about it, I mean, you get rid of all of what we consider derogatory, and right now people are coming down on patriotism because their patriotism isn't really patriotism, it's nationalism.
Right.
So eventually the Patriots will become a thing, too.
I think that'd be a long way, because it's not so much a race. But you can argue it. Yeah. So, and then PETA people want to get rid of the Dolphins and
the Bengals and the Bears.
And then what do we have left? So that's what I think. I think so much of it is politics, and it's just like, let's see how strong we are. Let's see how we can flex our muscles and see. And then that's what's happened with the Redskin thing for so long. It showed that Native Americans don't have strong political power.
And they should have much.
They've been trying to get it changed forever, and they can't. And then all it takes is two corporations saying change it, and they're like, okay, we'll do it.
Because it's money.
Yeah. And Native Americans didn't have money. They don't have a lot of anything, and so they don't have the political power to force or to make someone even seriously consider their demands.
Not seriously, no.
And
they can lobby for it.
We're only now, 2020, getting to the point where we're removing statues of just blatant racists. I mean, not even people that you can kind of say, maybe. These are just people that, it's like, why is that statue even up?
Right.
Why do they need to even talk about that? So, I don't know. I feel like I want to do a whole show about it. We've almost done a whole show about it now. So
Sorry.
I want to do a whole show.
But it's an interesting conversation, and I think it needs to be had. And I think that our listeners need to, chime in if they want to. And we would love to invite them into that conversation, either real time or write in what you think. And we'd be happy to read your thoughts and give them proper consideration on our show, because we don't we don't downplay any opinion here. So if you want to do that, if you want to be part of that conversation, then I think you should send something to thisepicdisaster@gmail.com.
And it's been pointed out by people in the past that we're basically two white people voices.
We are.
So it'd be nice to bring in some people who have a viewpoint that's not white.
That's not us.
And I'm sure here in Atlanta we can find some people. We have some friends we can invite on. But it would be nice to have a voice of, as they say, people of color who can say, and I'd love to know, I could sit here and tell you my point of view. Who cares? I'm a white dude. I got it made.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like that maybe the topic shouldn't be filtered through my perspective.
Or our perspective, for that matter.
I don't mind offering my viewpoint or just saying this is the way I think, but I would like to have a viewpoint from someone who's affected by it in a totally different way. So I think when we have that episode, we should do that.
I agree. And I think we should do it with multiple different opinions.
Yeah.
So let's work on doing that.
Okay. And then let's work on this this beer. What do you think about this beer? Not today, Satan. Pontoon Brewing.
When I first started this beer, I was a fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's very coffee oriented. It tastes very much like. Here, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So to me, it tastes like I left a cup of black coffee sitting out, and it got cold,
Yeah.
and I poured some alcohol in it and drank it.
But it's not, well, maybe a little. I was going to say it's not that sweet, but it does have a little sweetness to it.
No, but my black coffee wouldn't be sweet because this is black coffee.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is it has the bitterness of the coffee.
Yeah.
For sure. And it definitely has an aftertaste of coffee, like big time. Like my tongue tastes like I just drank a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I've drank less than half of it and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. It's just too strong for me. But if you like that coffee, heavy coffee flavor, then Not Today Satan by Pontoon Brewing is for you.
Yeah. I didn't care for it. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. Now, I will say, if you like that kind of beer, and it's not like a rich strong. It's not creamy.
No, it's a
not
bitter
thick,
strong.
but it's got too much bitter for me.
Yeah.
But it is very dark. It's definitely got the kind of coffee taste. And but I don't know. It's not for me. I didn't like it through the whole thing, and I was kind of disappointed because I really thought I was going to like it.
So here's what I think is this is just a dark ale. Now, if they put that same coffee flavor into a milk stout,
yeah,
you might have my money.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy those flavors with coffee.
Me too.
The milk and the thick and the cream. But this is just cold coffee.
Yeah, and that is the thing. It is not creamy. So if it did have a little creamy flavor, maybe I'd like it more.
For sure. I'll also give it a 2.
Okay, so we agreed it's a 2.
Yeah.
But not because it's a bad beer. It's got a lot of flavors to it. It just happens to be flavors I don't care for, and I'm just not a bitter beer person. But people who are bitter beer people would probably like it because it's got a lot of flavor in there, and might be something you like. And if you're Satan, you're really going to like it because your name is on the front.
But it says Not Today Satan, so it's judging you.
Possibly, but I think Satan will.
But most of Pontoon
Satan will decide when the day is going to be.
Most of Pontoon Brewing's beers that we've tried so far, I have enjoyed.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm not mistaken, but Jax can back me up on that. This one, not today. So there, not today.
All right, and we both like Chad's smoked Gouda dip. So
hell yeah.
I don't know where you can get that. It says Murray's, which is I believe is a cheese, right?
It
Murray's
is.
cheese.
I think the Chad's
Chad
is.
Murray?
I think that's actually part of the name of the cheese.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Murray's is the brand or like where it's from,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Chad's is part of the type of cheese. Chad's Gouda.
Oh, I don't think so. No, I don't think so because it's Chad's smoked Gouda. I don't think so.
All right, I'll
I
look
could
it up.
be wrong.
I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
Well, anyway, we both like that. That's kind of nice. And the Georgia sourdough crackers were nice. I like that because they didn't have a lot of. They were good. They didn't have a lot of flavor on their own, so they were really, really good to go
They
with this.
didn't overwhelm the cheese.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So had a lot of fun today. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to hang out with us, we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We're often there. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
I want to just kind of apologize because in the 2 years we've been doing this podcast, we've kept things super non-political.
Yeah.
And today we went a little deep.
We see, my Facebook page, I don't post anything political on it. And the other day I was going to post something about race, and I was like, oh, should I do this? Because I'm trying to stay out of politics. And I was like, human rights isn't political.
That's not political, but
Race
tearing
is not
down statues is.
I don't think that's political. But we didn't get into the politics of it, and that's what
true.
I wanted to avoid. I just wanted
true.
to know opinions, what you thought about it. And I don't want to get into an argument, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to say this is a Democrat issue, a Republican issue,
Oh, God,
or
no.
a South or a
This
North.
is a person
And
issue.
I just wonder your opinions, and I tell you my opinions too. So I really think we've done this before. I think we can address these issues without being political. We kind of do that sometimes. So that's what I'm hoping we can do.
I think that's it.
We did do a live video. Check out our live video. We are going to be doing a Zoom at the end of this month. If you'd like to talk to us in person, see us, hang out with us, you're
It's
welcome
my
to do
birthday.
that. It'll be our third one. Wow, we've done 3, and it's just kind of fun. We do about 30 minutes,
Yeah.
about 30 minutes to an hour of just kind of hanging out and chatting. You don't have to even speak if you don't want to, but it's a good opportunity to kind of meet and see things. But what we would like, it's going to be Sherry's birthday, so we're challenging everybody to bring something that you would like to give Sherry. Now, obviously, you can't give it to her. But if you could, this is what you would give. And it could be a picture. You can download it off the internet and just show us the picture. Magazine, book, or just something you have around the house. You would give it to her.
If I could give you this, I would buy you one of these.
And don't pull anything out of your pants. She doesn't want to see that.
No, because you can't buy that for me.
No. But just bring it. It'll be fun. And we'll just kind of hang out and talk. We usually play a round of Would You Rather. So you can do that if you want to with us.
You get to join us.
And it'll be fun. And we will, on our Facebook page and probably our Instagram site, we will have more information about what day that's going to happen and how you can access the Zoom hangout.
Because that's weeks away.
Just a couple, 2 or 3.
But it's a long time for
Not
me.
bad. You wish. But we'd love to see you. We'd love to have people hang out. They've all been fun so far. And that's about it, right?
Yeah, we're done.
Stay cool, people. I don't know where you are, but Atlanta is hot.
91 degrees currently.
I didn't want to leave today.
And
I'm
it
melting.
is 7:45 in the evening.
Yeah. But stay cool. Stay safe. Put your mask on. Keep your social distance. Do it for a while. I don't care if you don't even like it. Just do it for a little while.
You don't have to go to the grocery store every day.
We can all bring the cases down, and then we can all have fun. I don't want to have to be in the house through fall
This
and
fall,
winter
I am
because
going outside.
of stubborn people.
That's right. And I want to go outside to the places I want to go.
Yeah.
So wear your fucking mask.
Yeah, play it. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
All right, people, we'll see you next Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us this Monday. We always have fun when you do. Drop us a line, thisepicdisaster@gmail.com. We'd like to hear from you. Until then, we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.